Hi everybody, I'm Shelley Alford and I'm going to be your facilitator for Fluency, Mastering the Basic Math Facts for addition and subtraction. I know it's been a little bit of a rough start to begin with us getting everybody online and making sure everybody's comfortable with Edmodo and getting everybody the code and getting logged in and making sure everybody's doing, getting the communication fact underway. But now that we have everybody online and we have everybody going, I'm glad we get started. So this is the introduction piece, and it's where I show you about the book and all that kind of stuff. So this is the book we're going to be utilizing throughout this session. It's one Michael Elder and I had, he showed it to me, and it's one that I find is very, very succinct, and I like how the book is put together. So what is this professional development about? Well, okay, I just made my first mistake, so let's eliminate that. All right, so when we're getting started, with the online professional development, it's not something brand new. We all know that, you've taken professional classes online, you've taken other things that, you've gone through Blackboard probably, and we've done the Edmodo piece now, so you know that's how we're going to do our main piece of communication. But it is new to some of us. Now, this professional development is meant to be an asynchronous type of delivery. You get to do it at your own pace. You decide when you're going to do it. You set aside time to do it. This is, this is up to you. One of the things we want to make sure that we're all doing is that we're making sure everybody understands what this is about, and basically we're looking at the basic math facts. Now, all grades are welcome though. So even if you're, we have a couple of people that are from the high school, we have a couple of people from middle school, and we have several people that are in the elementary setting, and that's fantastic. Everybody can learn something from this PD, I think, because it's about number sense. It's about the patterns in numbers. It's about how we get that number sense to our kids and from our kids. So if you find that this is not the right PD for you, then message me and let me know so that we can have a conversation, okay? Now, some of the points we want to ponder. Each of the sessions is meant to be about an hour. That doesn't mean you have to, listen to me for about an hour. It's, all encompassed about an hour. You're going to have some assignments that, are going to be posted. I'm a huge believer in conversations about math, so you're going to be having conversations with kids about math, and that's part of what is going to be happening. Definitely look at budgeting your time for this. When you think about it, a normal staff development that you go to, you have to, go to the county office, or you have to go to a certain school at a certain day at a certain time. You might want to consider setting aside a certain day or a certain time that is your, Mastering the Math Facts PD, the Basic Math Facts PD, and that's where you devote your time to looking at the video and watching through the PowerPoints with me and meeting with me during that time. But that's up to you. If you want to do it on Wednesday, if you want to do it on Saturday, if if you're a night person and you want to do it at night, this is up to you. We're not all going to get together at a certain time and be online at the same time. So that's one of the things I really like about it. Let me know if you need more time on something, because even though I'm going to move us forward rather quickly because we only have the 10 weeks to do this, if you need more time on an assignment because you weren't able to work it in, or life happens, so whatever reason, let me know and we can work some things out. Now, one of the things for this particular PD, we will not be able to go past the 16th. Once the last session on the 16th comes around, in order for us to get you your CEUs, we're going to have to be finished on that day. But up till then, we'll be able to extend, some things here and there. I am very flexible. I am very easy to work with, so just definitely let me know. Now, you're going to be asked to try some things yourself, and then you're going to be asked to try some things with kids. Some of you don't have a classroom of your own, so you don't have a plethora of kids to choose from. So if you don't have kids to work with, don't let that be a problem, okay? That's going to be one of those times when you may have to ponder, what would a child say? Or you may need to go and ask your child or your grandchild, or borrow a classroom of children. You know, that is something that has been done before as well. Whatever works best for you is what I want you to do with this. It is about uncovering those things that are not something that you're doing every day right now, possibly. Some of you may be doing exactly what we're talking about every single day, and that is fantastic. That would be something definitely to share in the comment section on Edmodo. Oh, this is, you know, nothing new to me. I've done this. This is how my kids react to this. And the sharing that we do back and forth, where you're telling us what you do, how your kids reacted, especially those of you that are from middle and high school, and posing these questions to those kids, it really speaks to their number sense. So definitely want to, you know, get that feedback. Now, you can't do it all. You will not be able to do every single thing all 100% because there's a lot. So if there are a choice of 3 assignments, then that means there's a choice. Choose one of them. You need to only do one. If you want to do all 3, you definitely can. There's no extra credit. There's no, you know, doing it better because you did all 3. It is a choice of that. If you have a question about anything, please, please, please do not hesitate to let me know. Email me or send me a message. I'm going to be inviting each of you to be a contact of mine through Edmodo so that we can have that conversation piece through Edmodo. Now, with Edmodo's, the level of comfort so far, everybody has said that they were fairly comfortable. If when we get started in it and we find that, you know, there's some additional tutorial that we need to have or do something a little bit different with it, we can do that. That is not a problem. I will work with you at any level that we need to work. So, you know, Edmodo is not going to be what keeps us from communicating. I'm looking forward to, you know, all the things that we can discover through Edmodo. I think it's a pretty good tool. Now, our focus, Mastering Math Facts, Addition and Subtraction, it started January 20th. And again, I was trying to get everybody on board at the same time before I posted these videos. Now that we've got everybody and everybody has been connected through the Edmodo piece, we can get started with this is the overview and, you know, how things are going to work. And we will have our final session May 16th. And May 16th is the last time everything has to be completed. If you fall behind, make sure you understand everything has to be completed by May 16th. Now, why did we choose this particular book? Again, Michael Elder and I got together and he showed me this book, and once I started reading through the book and saw how succinct it was and that the order that it showed why we do what we do in the order that it showed it. It was just fantastic. As the introduction of the book, it says, as math teachers, we want all our students to develop a quick recall of single-digit addition and subtraction facts. That is the goal of every teacher. We want them to have that, you know, very quick recall. I'm sorry, I went too soon. Now, in this book, and I am going to take it directly, you know, from the book, it says, what are basic facts? Now, in this book, normally the basic math facts we know are the single digits 0 to 9. This one includes 10 as one of the basic math facts because when you look at 10 as that friendly number, and it does do that a lot through this book, when we get our kids to that 10 as a friendly number, it makes a huge difference in their computation and their ability to get to that fluency. What constitutes mastery of the basic math facts? Well, when students are able to recall in a very short amount of time their math facts, when they get to those more complicated and abstract areas of math, if they're not taking a lot of time to do the computation of the addition and subtraction, it just makes all of those other areas of math so much easier. And we talk about the fact that we want them to have that automaticity within math. We want them to have the fluency. And it relates, if we think about math like we think about reading, because we spend a lot of time teaching kids how to be fluent in reading. We want them to be fluent. We want them to have recall. We want them to be able to retell very, very quickly about what it is that they just read. But we don't tend to do that as much in math. Well, if we think about it, we want kids to be fluent in math. We want them to be able to go through their facts very quickly and smoothly. We want them to have that automaticity when it comes to their math facts. We don't want them to have to stop and think, okay, 6 plus 2. Am I putting 6 and then am I adding 2 more to it? We want them to be able to know that's 8, but how did they get there? And then when it comes to the retelling, when we get to word problems, okay, what is it that you're trying to figure out? Now, in reading, we don't have a problem in the world asking our kids to do that. We have all kinds of strategies. We have all kinds of things that we do with our kids when it comes to reading. But when it comes to math, we don't look at it the same way. And it really comes down to it is the same. Why is it important to understand math facts? The ability to recall items is enhanced when understanding is connected to the task. Memorizing a chain of nonsensical words, sat chair red girl in a little the, is more difficult than memorizing a sentence in which the words have meaning. A little girl sat in the red chair. Asking students to memorize dozens of number facts can be discouraging and confusing when students view them simply as a pair of numbers. The understanding that 7 plus 4 represents the combined total of those two quantities and that the sum is clearly close to 10 aids our ability to recall the sum. So when we're talking about kids being able to do this, having it related to, okay, let's make it make sense. Let's make it so that they absolutely understand what it is we're asking them to do. Sometimes we forget to, and I'm not saying you do this, I'm saying, the greater we, sometimes we just forget to tell them why we want them to know this. We give them the abstract numbers and we tell them, you need to know this. You're going to put these together and then you're going to come up with this answer. And then we give them manipulatives and we say, go ahead and use these, but we don't tell them why they're doing it. That's one of the ways this book is going to help us with that. And this PD, I hope, is going to help get us to there. We're going to come up with ways to practice the fluency. We're going to have some strategic thinking. We're going to notice how we're going to look through the activities that are in this book are really, I think, pretty cool. It talks about developing an understanding through the book. It also gives us the big ideas in math. When we're talking about those big ideas, each chapter has its own big idea. And when it focuses on that big idea, it helps us to narrow down what it is we're wanting the kids to learn. So when we talk about that, it's rather interesting because, like, our number system is a system of patterns. When our kids understand that there's a system of patterns, it unlocks that mysterious part of math. So we all know that math is not a hereditary gene. So when mom says, well, I was never good at math, so I understand my son's not good at math either. Well, it's not a hereditary trait, so that's not going to work. When we unlock that mystery of why math works for some people and doesn't for others, it's that number sense key. It's understanding what you have to do to get from one step to the next step. So this is one of those times when what we're going to do in the activities that we're going to be participating in and the things that we'll do together that will help us do that. Now, one of the things that I absolutely love is exploring the operations through the children's literature. When we go through the book and through the activities and through each of the chapters, and there's 8 chapters in this book. So we're going to have the overview this time, and the first 2 weeks, I always try to not have, really heavy, meaty, oh my goodness, this is going to be a nightmare kind of professional development. I want it to be, this is what we're going to be doing. We're getting the technology together, and here is what it's going to look like in a nutshell. Okay? That way it's not completely overwhelming and you can kind of get your bearing. And when we're talking about like the literature piece of this, there's a book for each chapter. And when you can explore the math through the children's literature, it kind of wraps up the day. You're able to use your literature block and incorporate math into your literature block and incorporate literature into your math block. So it just becomes one of those smooth transitional days where it's not all chopped up. When we talk about the classroom environment, it has interactive bulletin board ideas that will be talked about. We'll be talking about word walls. We'll be talking about centers and how those can be set up. Whether you have centers in your room or not, doesn't matter. It's not saying you have to set them up. There are no thou shalts in this professional development, and I want to make sure that is something you understand. This is absolute, total, and complete choice on everybody's part. If this works for you, then do it. If it doesn't, then don't. Now, one of the things I do want to let you know, which is to me very exciting because I love when books get to be in my space, every school that is participating in this professional development will have this book delivered to your media center, and it'll be barcoded into your professional library. Now, you will have the option of downloading some information from the book. If you look on, and I apologize for not looking at you while I'm looking at this. If you look in at XI, look at page XI, right there, okay? And in the shaded area, there's a code that you can use, and once you put in that code and you register, you have access to all of the Blackline Masters, and you have access to everything that is in the book. So you don't have to go out and buy the book in order to have access. Once you put in that code, you'll be able to have access to everything you need in the book. I will also be downloading the other things anything that I ask you to utilize from the book will be downloaded onto Edmodo. So if there is a document from this book that I want you to use with your class, or if it is part of an assignment or something like that, that will be downloaded onto Edmodo. If I ask you to use something, that will be downloaded onto Edmodo. So up to this point, I just wanted to make sure we had a general overview of everything that is going to happen in the next few weeks. We have 8 chapters, so we will be finishing chapter 8 on the 16th, and the last month that we're together. And we will also be exploring off and on several other resources that are out there, because we know there are a ton of resources. DPI is one of the biggest sources that I use. DPI has all kinds of different things, and I'll be making sure to include any of those that I can anytime that one of them applies to what we're doing, and that we use those tasks and things like that if it is something that we can utilize. If you have resources, if you have resources that you use and you want to put those on Edmodo, please do. It is helpful for everybody to share their resources, because not everybody holds every bit of information, and I always like learning new things from people. So please, please, please feel free to post to Edmodo. And remember, if you need to contact me, that my email address is michelle.alford@onslow.k12.nc.us. If, again, I am going to be sending each of you a request to add me as a contact in your Edmodo. You can do that with each other or not. That is completely and totally up to each and every one of you. So if you choose to, great. If you don't want to, that's okay too. But I want you to, if you would, please accept me so that you can message me through Edmodo. Now, again, this one was the overview, and when I post the chapter 1, I plan to have it posted by Tuesday of next week. You are welcome to view it when you want, and then the assignment is due by the time the next video gets posted. And I plan on posting by Tuesday or Wednesday of each week. Okay, that is the plan. Now, barring any technical difficulties, that is the plan, is to post by Tuesday or Wednesday of each week. If you have any questions for me, or if you have any concerns, do not hesitate to send me a message, email me, let me know any concerns you have. If you would, please, so that I know that you attended this particular session, just jot me a note in the Edmodo reply under this video saying, yep, got the overview, or if you have questions about the overview, let me know. But so that I know you attended this session, just jot something in the reply message for this particular session. Okay? I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you for chapter 1 next week.